PYX 106.
It's 1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com.
Attorney Paul Harding on the phone. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing great. Good morning, guys.
We got Paul here to help us out. I don't know. I'm into this. I don't know if Quinn cares about it.
Here's the thing. I have a really shady past. I'm talking about legal stuff, accusations, a lot of horrible crap out there on the internet that if you dig deep enough, and I'm saying don't do it because I'll be embarrassed if you find it, but, you'll find this stuff.
A European Court of Justice ordered Google to allow people to opt out of being found if they're searched, and it's in effect, and 12,000 people have opted out. How did it happen, and how do we make that happen here in the United States?
Well, it happened because Europe is not the United States. I mean, although First Amendment protections are important principle in their culture, it's not an inherent right like we have, constitutional right to First Amendment, freedom of speech, etc. So if we think about it, what we have is Google, right? They don't really print anything. They just take information that's already out there, disseminate it, and they sort of organize it in case you want to search and find it.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be true. It can all be a bunch of fake crap that somebody else puts on the internet about you.
It can be, and then some of the stuff is true. From some, in this situation, you've got the Spanish national who's dealing with the auction of his home, showing basically some financial issues.
Right.
And he said, "Hey, this is kind of ruining me. It's kind of ruining my chances of job prospects, etc. I'd like it off." And to the surprise to everyone, the European Union Court said, okay, if you petition, and it was 12,000 requests in one day, the first day, to have things removed. In terms of it happening here, I just don't see it. Google has something now that if you have personal information on there, for ID theft or Social Security numbers, bank accounts, stuff, your personal information, which could lead to a problem, there's a process by which they'll remove it. But if you had a DWI 15 years ago, and you say, well, I've been good for 15 years, they don't remove it. It's there, and under the current law, it's there for as long as people are searching it.
So it could get, I wish that we had a relationship, you and me, back in the 90s, because I fought with Ma Bell. Paul, at one point, you used to have to pay extra to not be in the phone book. And that just steamed me. Like, if somebody doesn't want to be found, you know what I mean? Like, right. I don't want ex-girlfriends seeing seeing how much weight I put on. I don't want, I just don't want any of that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with you. Freedom of speech should be the freedom of not speak.
Yes.
Speech. You know what I mean? Like,
remember Gary Carra did a story about, I think I judged a baked bean eating contest or something on the Daily Hampshire Gazette over in Western Mass, and there's a picture of me sweaty with a headband eating baked beans. And
it's about 100 degrees.
And it's so hot, and I'm so fat.
I can find that on the internet today.
I just want to get rid of it.
So, Paul, if I wanted to challenge this, where would I even start?
Well, I'm sure there are people thinking about this. How could it be effective here? It would be a federal court. I mean, it would be a case that's brought to federal court to say, hey, I want this protected. This is my personal information. This is something that happened many years ago. This is something that was, although maybe accurate, has been dogging me and plaguing me. So a lawsuit's begun in federal court, and it begins its way through the process. And again, this would be something the Supreme Court of the United States would deal with. So you would need a group behind you. You're talking about hundreds of thousands, probably millions of dollars in legal fees. To be the one, the test case, as we call it, to move it through the system and see if there would be any movement. But right now,
I know that there are services.
I thought about this. I just don't see Google ever being, manipulated into taking things off because it's inconvenient for people. They might make it a little different, but right now I don't see it changing the way that the Europeans did.
There's a service out there called Reputation Scan or something Reputation. You can pay supposedly for the service, and they'll go on and find ways to extract that stuff from the internet. But you don't want to have to pay to have stuff about you. But there you go. That's the world we live in right now.
What they do is they put other stuff on that bumps that way down.
Okay,
so
that's how it works. Okay,
Quinn Cantera. You put in if they put the hundreds of other things, the one maybe you didn't want out
there you go.
now is so low that no one. It's on page 28. Yeah.
The irony of this story is that the guy who got this law to be changed or in place in Europe wanted not to be noticed,
Yeah.
and now he's the face of this
yeah.
lawsuit, and everybody
whole
knows
focal point.
he foreclosed on his house.
Right.
But he made a
Always the
sacrifice
case,
for
yeah.
the rest of us, maybe. So,
Well, Paul,
Yeah.
thanks, man. We appreciate it as always. 1-800
Okay,
Law.
guys.
just Google
Yep.
him.
Well, yeah,
just Google Martin Hardy Mazzotti.
Yeah, Martin Hardy
you find
Mazzotti.
him.
Yeah, Google. Yeah, you don't even have to 1-800-LAW-1010.com.
Wish I'd seen that picture of the bean. I'm going to go on there right now.
Buddy, let me tell you.
I'll text it to
Yeah,
you.
he'll just
beans.
send it to you.
I'll text it to
All right.
you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, guys.
See you, man.